Hey, Paul.
Hey guys.
How you doing, bro?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm pretty cheerful because I'm going on leave.
Oh, yeah. True story. Where are you going?
Down to the crew guy.
Nice.
Gonna go look at some bookies and bra
Driving?
and drink beer. Yes. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and it's Friday. I said to you yesterday, doing the pod on a Friday morning, I don't know. There's always been a nice vibe around a Friday.
Yeah.
I've always liked it. But quite a lot going on in the aviation industry this past week. We'll start with some news affecting us here in South Africa. Emirates going to be adding a 4th daily flight between Dubai and Joburg, starting on the 1st of March 2025. That'll be 777-300. So that's an additional 708 seats and reinstates the airline's pre-pandemic capacity in South Africa. So that's the important thing. Back to where it was.
Yeah.
Be a morning departure from Joburg, and of course that with all the interlines and code shares with South African Airways, Airlink, Semair, and FlySafe Air, quite a few more options there for South African travellers, which is good news.
No, it's excellent. That coupled with, I think you might have it here, but Qantas.
Perth.
Yeah. They're expanding. They're trading the 787 for the A380.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So we're going to see an A380 in Qantas colours coming to Joburg very soon, which is nice because it's more capacity. It gets a few more bums to Oz.
Yeah. Australia. No, that's good news. And then some Airlink stuff. South African-based Airlink aims to enhance its performance on trunk routes. Do you know what a trunk route is?
No idea.
I didn't either. But
Really?
Roger Foster said it's routes between big hubs.
Okay.
So why they didn't say that, I don't know. Aims to enhance its performance on trunk routes to better compete with rivals, according to CEO Roger Foster. The airline received a significant boost from Cathay Airways, acquiring a 25% stake after 2 years of negotiations. The fresh equity enables Airlink to accelerate its growth strategy, expand its network, and improve connections around Africa. So good news for them. They're growing like mad. And the connection with them and Cathay, I think we spoke about it last week, but it's definitely going to add a bit of even more boost to what they're already doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, two pretty big airlines. I mean, Cathay is big in a world sense, and Airlink is rather massive when it comes to regionals.
There's a lot of passengers out there that are pro Qatar as well. I saw a post from someone, I think it was yesterday afternoon or earlier this morning, where they traveled to Dubai and they were somewhat let down by the airline that they were traveling on, and they said, look, my experience now on Qatar has just been far superior, so other airlines have to catch up.
I can vouch for that as well, actually. The times I've been on Qatar, it's been pretty seamless. Good airline.
Yeah, so quite a good partnership getting together there with Airlink.
There's a bit of a rumor.
Yeah?
I don't know how true it is, but there is a rumor that there are some aircraft that Qatar don't want, they're not using, and apparently they are coming to South Africa to be painted in Airlink colors and will be used domestically here in South Africa.
Oh, really?
No, it's a rumor.
Okay.
Nothing official about it, but it seems to be a little bit stronger than just a general rumor. So we'll see.
Interesting.
I don't know if they have some 738s lying around or...
Yeah, that's going to get the Airlink crew excited.
Yeah. But it would be quite cool.
Yeah, be interesting to see if that happens.
Yeah. There was a discussion, Ryan, so we can have a discussion on it here. It was at the African Aviation Conference. When was that? Week before last?
Last week.
So Africa is known for having over 300 airlines across only 54 countries. The aviation experts in the panel that I'm talking about here discussed that is just totally unsustainable. I've actually heard John mention this as well, John Howell. So they had the Boeing MD of Boeing Africa, Tafara Shaw, I think his name is. If African aviation does not resolve this fragmentation, foreign airlines risk taking it over. Only 20% of the African market is served by African airlines. He offered an example of Europe, which 20 years ago had more than 11 global airlines due to protectionism. In Europe, there are only now 4 big airlines. The rest are feeders. We need that in Africa. Africa is no exception to the rest of the world. We need to work together, or our market will continue to be taken over by foreign airlines. A point worth noting here, the African load factor across the board, 60%. So the question I'm asking you, why have we got so many small airlines, and why is the load factor so low, and what can be done about it?
I think it's easy to answer that because every country in Africa wants its own state-owned airline.
Yeah,
because
true.
it's a dick swinging contest, and also
tell us what you really think, right?
No, you know what I mean. I'm shooting straight arrows, yeah. And obviously, with it being government owned, it gives them the chance to meddle with the funds there. We see it in South Africa, so why would it be different anywhere else?
Well, South Africa, if you look at this whole thing, South Africa almost looks like a bit of a model at the moment to what it should look like. You've got all the airlines that are operating are pretty, they're not huge, but they're not too rinky-dink. So the smallest is probably Lyft, and they're going through a bit of a transition, I think. But if you look around the rest of Africa, a lot of small airlines, they pop up all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a name change.
Yeah.
And you wonder, would it be better if they worked together? Anyway, in this discussion, it went on to say they were talking about if I'm not the right person to speak about this because there's a special name for it, and it's probably some alliance or whatever. But you've got a situation where your airlines here or anywhere in the world, they own the route. Okay, they own the routes. But now they might not necessarily want to fly that route. But no one else can jump on the route because you own that route. So what this was all about is why not open that up so that we don't want to fly that route, but your airline wants to maybe fly that route. And if your airline does, then I'm eligible for a small percentage of those profits.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to get right. But, the interesting thing there is a massive amount of airlines in Africa, and a 60% load factor is not enough to make it sustainable.
Yeah. Crazy. But, look, not that I know too much about this, but, I mean, a lot of the smaller airlines are owned by the bigger airlines as well. I mean, if you look at, like, Malawian, which is actually Ethiopian, and the likes of that.
But even them, you would regard them as being. There's smaller airlines than that as well.
Yeah.
There's airlines operating 1-2 aircraft of pretty small gauge aircraft. So
yeah, interesting.
Boeing's outlook predicts Southeast Asia will need 234,000 new aviation personnel and 4,720 new planes by 2043. Passenger air traffic in the region is expected to grow 7.2% each year, outpacing global growth rates. Sustainable aviation will also expand, with the region potentially supplying 12% of global SAF demand by 2050.
There it is
so
again.
What is that, Paul?
Sustainable aviation fuel demand.
So I researched this because I literally hear the people saying, what is sustainable? You hear it, and I thought I knew what it was.
Yeah.
But it's not as clear cut, actually. So it doesn't just mean they're somehow going to clap your plane full of biofuel now.
No.
No.
Not as simple as that.
No, it's
Okay.
not. It's not as simple as that. So obviously, this is fuel made by sustainable feedstocks like waste oils, agricultural residues, municipal waste, and non-food crops. Chemically similar to traditional jet fuel, allowing it to be used as a drop-in solution. So you don't have to change anything on your aircraft, no modifications. Can reduce life cycle CO2 emissions by up to 80% compared to conventional jet fuel. Significant emissions reduction. SAF can cut greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 80%. Cleaner air. You've got the industry goal situation. You know, we spoke about that. That has to be done carbon net zero by 2050. Practical implementation. Obviously, I got all this from Perplexity. But this can be blended with conventional jet fuel. So that's how they're starting off. They're not just filling a tank with it. They're actually sort of blending it there. So it's a bit of a mix. And it's all bullshit.
I was waiting for that because
It's all bullshit.
It just sounds far too bloody far-fetched.
Yeah, like
anything for starters that's blended
look,
is cuck. I mean,
look. Let's refrain. Yeah, it's these goals and these corporate things that you have to do for compliance. That's bullshit. It's like you doing a good deed, but you know you're going to be rewarded for that good deed. It then ain't a good deed.
yeah.
So
True story.
you've got this carbon net zero stuff where all these airlines have to comply, and it's like this thing way in the future, 2050, and you've got to start implementing this stuff now. But we already know that the margins in this industry and the things that we're trying to comply with on a daily basis are getting more and more difficult. But now you've got this, by 2050, there's not one CEO for one of these big airlines that you can genuinely tell me sitting there scratching his head going, yes, I've got to sort this out. Because he isn't going to be there in 2050. So you've got this like thing that we speak about and it's there. And this whole thing is a pretty straightforward solution. It's just different fuel made from different things. And you put it in the aircraft and off you go.
I'm surprised it sort of popped up as a topic again because there was a lot of noise about this a good couple of months ago, and then it sort of died away. And I thought, geez,
No, I think this is here to stay.
Heard the last of
I mean,
it,
even the airlines, you've got didn't Tommy speak about it. You have to have like a fleet captain, then you've got your performance captain, then you've got someone that deals with the environmental stuff. Don't get me wrong, we're not anti-environment, but just you can smell the bullshit on this stuff from miles away. I mean, you really can.
true story.
And carrying on with it, China Eastern Airlines completed its first flight using SAF fuel on a Comac C919. The flight is part of a nationwide SAF trial involving multiple airlines and airports. China's Southern Airlines also began commercial ops with the C919, planning to expand its routes. It's actually quite a good-looking little aircraft.
What, that ARJ21?
That Comac,
Comac,
C919,
Oh, the 919. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the prettiest in my opinion.
No, it's not. It
that
seems like a decent aircraft.
That other one, the ARJ21, that looks like a hybrid between an MD and a CRJ, is a bit lilac. I don't like it.
Yeah, I can't quite picture it at the moment.
Reminds me of that airplane that Denzel Washington was doing aerobatics in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it'll never be an MD.
And it won't be a CRJ either.
No.
So. Yeah.
They also did high-altitude testing with the 919 this past week. That was from Chengdu to Tibet. The aircraft's being developed for high-altitude performance and has commitments for 40 units from Tibet Airlines. Comac's ARJ21, that's your one, has already proven its capability in high-altitude ops in China. So, yeah. They're building a lot of these simulators, I must say.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a lot going on there. Carry on story from a couple of weeks ago, that Cathay Pacific A350-1000 engine issue. So it was actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but was that to do with the cleaning process that they used for those engines? EASA issued an updated directive potentially requiring checks on some A350-900 engines affected by a problematic cleaning process.
Okay.
Rolls-Royce agreed to conduct precautionary inspections on affected engines, prioritizing those with significant use or specific maintenance history.
First I hear of that, but
There's a first you hear for a lot of things.
yeah.
Boeing has proposed a 30% pay rise and a $6,000 bonus to 33,000 workers to end this strike, which is crippling the company at the moment. We did pick up a story from L about the fact that it's sort of halted the
737 Max's production line,
which is not good, eh?
Negative.
I couldn't actually open that one because it was behind a paywall, and I haven't been able to find anything else at the time of the pod, but I'm sure something will pop up in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
I hope this whole thing is sorted out and Boeing can carry on with their business because
This is the knock-on effect is going to be pretty wild if it is the case.
yeah, it's not great. Are you into seaplanes, bro?
Yeah, I dig them. Have you seen? There's still a place I'd love to go and visit. Kenmore Air in Seattle. They've got those beavers, those old school radial beavers. not the beaver that you got in your head.
They got some aircraft there as well, I suppose. Shit.
The one I was referring to. Yeah. I'm keen on them.
You keen. Ride's keen on beavers. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
So this is Nordic Seaplanes will be the first to operate. How do you pronounce this? Alfle's all-electric seaplane. Of all the aircraft to go electric, I would have thought that the seaplane one would have been the last. Right? Doesn't seem like those two would mix.
No, water and electricity don't go well. And shit.
You know where it would make? There's actually was something about this. I think Hilka Burns posted something about it last week. In Greece, when you go from island to island, you always jumping on these ferries. These ferries go like hell. They're not bad, but it's a grimy ferry, and you got all this diesel smell on the inside. Yeah. And when I was there last, actually, I said to my wife, "There's no ways I'm going back to Athens on this freaking ferry." Those boats.
Didn't you jump on a Q400?
Yeah, I said stuff as I'm buying a ticket on a Q400, and it wasn't. I promise. I don't even think the Q400 ticket was that much more expensive than the ferry.
Yeah,
I mean it was much of a muchness. But between those islands for island hopping, like a little caravan type aircraft with some floats on would be ideal.
A beaver wouldn't do too bad either. Something a lot like they have in the Maldives, that Maldivian air taxi kind of thing.
Yeah, look, that's a no-brainer there in the Maldives because there's not enough people to cart around on the big ferries. But surprised they're not more popular.
Yeah, strange.
Right. 2024 World Aviation Festival will be held in Amsterdam from the 8th to the 10th of October, featuring 600 speakers and focusing on business models, technology, sustainability, of course, and innovation. The event will highlight advancements in AI, and they've got this cool thing there. It's a startup village. So it's like if your airline is, or anything in the aviation industry is I think 2019 is the cutoff. So anything post 2019, you actually regard it as a startup. So they have this, you can go and display there. But there'll be a lot of talk about AI and what's happening. Did you see Zuckerberg's glasses that he promoted yesterday?
Yeah.
Or launched yesterday.
That's going to be a game changer.
I think so. Because there are no wires. That's even a step ahead now, I think, of those Apple ones.
Yeah. I don't... they look a bit more clunky than the Apple ones are designed to be. But the Apple ones are still concept. They haven't really actually
No, but Apple,
Released
you've got the, what do you call it? The
Apple
actual
Vision.
Apple Vision. That Apple Vision, you have to be, it's got a wire like this. It's got a battery pack. You can't move around with that thing.
It's very clunky, eh?
So this Meta version is way more streamlined. You wear something on your wrist and then there's no visible wires or anything. So you can just wear it on every day. But that's a heavy focus on augmented reality. So it's your existing reality plus, and then it, and I think that's what's going to affect the aviation industry a lot, because from a training perspective, it's ideal.
Yeah, there's so many use cases for that.
You could sit in front of a paper tiger and, have as much information up as you want. So I'm looking forward to that. But, you expect to hear lots about AI and new tech at that aviation festival. An Australian man, Paul. Do you want to read this one?
Yeah, these are my favorite. An Australian man was arrested for illegally accessing aviation radio networks near Melbourne and sending false Mayday messages. Police found handheld radios and recordings of his transmissions at home. He faces multiple charges with penalties up to 20 years in prison.
Not a bright move.
Yeah.
And then I said there, I wonder where Mark Mason was at the time.
Yeah. Sounds like something you would do.
It does like so.
But
yeah, not very clever.
Why would you send false Mayday messages?
Oh, but it's happening
How
all
bored
the
do
time.
you have to be?
It's remember the other day there was, I wonder if that's still going on. I think the guys have just got used to it. That's why we don't hear about it. The fake ATC calls. There were all these fake ATC calls been going on. You had the GPS spoofing stuff, but then on top of that, there's been, fake ATCs giving you radar vectors, trying to make you crash into a mountain.
Jeez, man.
Never ending, bro.
Doesn't it?
Never ending. So
Crazy.
quite a lot in the aviation news this week. I hope the environmentalists don't take our take on the sustainable aviation fuel too seriously. But
they might. You're going to get the odd woke bloke that's going to...
There's some listener comments here, but the one... So I post a short video about what we spoke about with the Wi-Fi on aircraft.
Yeah.
So, you don't really comment on the shorts. They're like 30-second little videos. The one note goes, we've had internet. I don't know what you're talking about. We've had internet on aircraft for ages. So I responded, yeah, but it's slow, expensive, and very rarely works. He goes, no, it's fast and we have it. It works just fine. It's just that Elon has made satellite-based Wi-Fi now popular, and everyone is switching across to this because of Elon. It's like, whatever, bro. Are you
I think it's because it works, bro.
Yeah, just pipe down.
Calm the fuck down.
Yeah, it's always that one oak, eh? And he's always got 9 times out of 10, he's got an alias name, and
this is not that pale blue dot.
No, not that oak. And he's got an alias name and like a cartoon picture as his profile. Clap that oak. But I got a productivity tip for you, bro.
Shoot.
We promoted it before. Avixoo.
Yes.
Guys, throwing it out there. If you haven't checked out what Avixoo is, go download the app and at least join the community. It's well worth it. Join the community. But this thing is free. You put your details in there. So it's let's call it a recruitment type of app. But you put your details in there and you let Avixoo do the work for you. So we're going to do a proper video on this at some point, but just trying to urge people, this is a really good way for you to know what type of work is out there, and you don't have to do anything. You simply upload your details, your license, your types you rated on, age, medical, all that stuff, everything that you normally would for a job application. And then it basically matches you up with a job. It's an absolute no-brainer. Now, if you think, it's a bit of a hack, just go back to 2020 when shit hit the fan and you were sitting at home willing to take any job anywhere in the world, and you were phoning people saying, hey, have you got any opportunities here or there?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but it could. It could. So get your stuff in there. So at least if something does happen, you're a step ahead of the game. Because once you've put your details in, you don't have to then apply for jobs. It basically matches you up. It says, it'll send you something to say, hey, you've been matched with a job in Switzerland. You meet all the criteria. Do you want to take the next step, type of thing? And it's very unique. It works seamlessly, and it's designed by a South African company. It's a very, very cool app, and I think we should support companies like that are being innovative. And old Moritz that runs Avixoo, I respect him a lot. He's got so much energy, and he's a real entrepreneur. And you can just tell. This like what's Daniel Priestley's thing? He's got that with or without you energy. Yeah. When you speak to Moritz, it's like, I'm doing this thing, whether you're on board or not, I'm doing it. So he's got that, and it's a very, very cool company to support. So even if you don't want to go and put all your details in there, go over to Avixoo, join the community. We're on there. We post stuff there all the time. So go check it out. It's well worth it. And that's my tip for this week.
I love it, man, because, look, I think one thing that most of us as pilots tend to forget is what a hack it is to have to fill in multiple applications. You know, look at that Air Japan one, for instance. Gee whiz, man, that was a mountain of paperwork. And
that
if you have
still
to do
gives
that
me nightmares.
For every separate application that you have to fill in, it's just a nightmare, man.
It's a nightmare.
And pilots hate paperwork inherently. So,
Bryan, this is so flipping simple. You download the app, you create a profile, and then you put all your details in there. Once it's in, you leave it and let it do the work. Now that's automation.
It's 80-20, but 100%.
Exactly. And it's going out there, and what happens, and if you're wondering, but how does that work? Basically what's happening is this app is connecting airlines with pilots. So airlines, whether it's small corporate operations or actual airlines itself. So you log on or you sign up for free. Pilots sign up 100% for free. The airlines will then join up to the app as well, but they're on a paid version. So if they need 10 pilots for a particular gig, then they pay to access 10 pilots. And of course, it'll match it up. And it matches it up in detail. If a Schengen visa is a requirement, then it will filter that through. It's clever as well. As an example, there was a job position for, you required a Schengen visa, but then the system's clever enough to work out, hey, but if you're Canadian, got a Canadian passport, you don't need a Schengen visa. So it's not, it's clever. It's working it out. And then it's up to you. It says, hey, you've been matched with a job, like we say, in Switzerland. Do you want to take the next step? Yeah, let's try it out.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really cool app. The app works very well, and the idea is brilliant. So we've actually partnered up with Avixoo. So they're not a sponsor on the show. We are partnering with them, and a very, very cool company. So
love it, man. Yeah. So
join Avixoo. It's a link in the notes there. Some listener comments last week. Martin Locklear says, straighten approaches will catch pilots out even with all the bells and whistles to manage the profile. You should have a mental model of the vertical profile in your head and use the automation tools to confirm what is already in your head. Learn your 3 times table.
Spot on,
man.
Aussie Mike also comments, great show, gents. I prefer the 787 to the 350 in terms of passenger comfort. He says on Singapore Airlines and the in-flight Wi-Fi isn't too bad either. With advancements in VNAV, the FMS can assist in making the straight-in approaches safer or easier. That said, who hasn't ended up hot and high on a direct center fix routing at Joburg?
Yeah.
Most of us.
We all have. Since the Dakar has been in Saudi, I've been keen to visit. Went on a short holiday to visit some mates in March. Really impressed with the whole vibe and the hospitality shown everywhere we went. Pleasantly surprised.
That was from Duncan, eh?
So that was actually L. Sorry, I gave you the old version on yours there.
Okay.
And then from Yako, he says, excellent show as always. As far as Starlink on airplanes, I usually enjoy having no connection to the outside world, a break from the world. As you said, the plus is that the airline can eliminate the expensive entertainment system, saving money and weight. However, I think removing the entertainment system will require certification, and as you know, that is also expensive. The other downside will be that the airline will no longer be responsible for what is being watched, opening up a new can of worms. Only time will tell, but I can foresee passenger conflicts in the not-so-distant future because some idiot will be offended by what the guy next to him is watching.
True story, yes.
Yeah. The whole of Saudi is changing, and with alcohol slowly being reintroduced, it will be a place to visit in the future. I 100% agree with that. Definitely not an alcoholic, but if there's no alcohol in a place, I'm going to avoid that like...
You want to fly somewhere and you can't have a beer. That's just cuck.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, you
they're sorting that out.
Yeah. Sort that out. That last one was from Duncan. Spot on. Springboks playing. The TV's dad's non-negotiable. Boca anytime, any other time. Coca Melon has priority. So yeah,
a shot for all the comments, guys, and
yeah, do appreciate it. And then just an extra little thing there. I saw this morning, Paul, Starlink will be on Air France from 2025 as well.
Serious.
So they're making the switch over as well.
I wonder how much. Apparently, we're not too far from getting it here in South Africa.
Yeah. Cyril and Elon met the other day.
Yeah, they were having drinks together in Cyril's room at the Radisson there in New York or something like that.
I wonder who paid.
You know Ramaphosa's going to make Elon pony up for drinks, bro.
No, bro.
I'm telling you.
Because Cyril's not paying either. It's your money that he's using there.
Well, listen, Starlink is in Zimbabwe, so we have to get it sometime soon. And
yeah, I hope so.
Looking forward to that.
Because my interwebs at home are not cutting the mustard anymore.
No. I think Telkom are going to shit a brick when Starlink arrives.
Yeah. Just some housekeeping. You're on leave next week.
Yeah.
And the week after, I'm in France for a week. But we're gonna get something out. Don't worry. We're gonna get. There's gonna be a video available for you guys. A special thank you to all the new patrons. This last couple of weeks, it's just gone mad, and really, really grateful. Thank you for everyone that's signed up.
Yeah, we really appreciate the support, and couldn't do it without you guys. So wholeheartedly, thanks again.
Thank you. But thanks, Paul.
Yeah, guys, shot, man. It was a jaw, and I'll catch you again in a couple of weeks.
Enjoy your break.
Thanks, man. Going to.
Cheers for now.
Ciao.